everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Saturday, November the 25th. Race number 9 at Aqueduct. Let's throw up the field for the Grade 3 Comely. $200,000 is the purse. 3-year-old fillies. Again, going a demanding mile and an eighth distance. Grade 1 winner Defining Purpose is in here. The number 7 for Kenny McPee. Coming off a pretty good runner-up effort in the Mother Goose by an extremely talented filly named Jagera.
Yeah, she ran fine in that race. Got that Grade 1 win you mentioned there, Dan, back in April. Her form's held up pretty well since then.
There looks to be a good amount of speed in this race. We throw up the time form US pace projector. Ichi going to likely take advantage of that inside post by trying to get forward. Defining Purpose is tactical. Raging Sea is tactical. And maybe the 3 Honor D Lady can also get close, and that would be a boon to Honor D Lady because she also has the LP flag over her chiclet, which designates the fastest time form US late pace figure.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that horse up. I look at this pace projector and I don't want to be on a hard disagree here, Dan, but I looked at it kind of the same way. I thought maybe this 3 gets an aggressive ride. Got a pretty aggressive ride in a Grade 3 win back in September. I thought maybe she'd get another aggressive ride here. I wouldn't be surprised if she was up there right either on or near the lead.
High percentage trainer Linda Rice sends out the number 1, Ichi. Talented New York bred, won 2 in a row, then ran in the Empire Distaff last time out over a muddy track. It was her first start in 2 months. She was trying to stretch her ability back around a mile and an eighth again. She showed good speed. She just ran second to Know It All Audrey. I didn't really see much excuse. Maybe it was the wet track. I thought she ran just fine.
Yeah, she did run fine. She's only second best in this race. You know that she can handle the distance, so that's not really an issue here. The question is, does she really stack up against horses like this as she moves out of the state bred ranks?
The number 2, Julia Shining, course and distance winner of the Demoiselle in her second lifetime start. Mike, after that race, there were high hopes for Julia Shining to be one of the top horses in the 3-year-old filly division this year, and it just hasn't panned out. She's been a little bit of a disappointment. Is it time to maybe give up on her now going second off of a layoff, or do you still project some upside?
Yeah, well, it's definitely not too early to give up on. I mean, I think you could look at it maybe the opposite way. I just feel like she just hasn't really gotten a chance to get a full campaign in here. There's just a lot of layoffs here. And when they did bring her back over the summer, that wasn't a very easy spot there. All from April to August to come back in the Alabama, and she runs terrible in that race. I actually thought she ran pretty well last time, Dan, in the Mother Goose. I don't know what your thoughts were on that performance. Just a little bit too far away in there. And she was racing on pretty gamely through the stretch. I don't know how good she is. I think that's the real question here. It's also, I think, fair to wonder anyway. I know that she's bred to be a distance horse, but is she really that good going longer distances? I don't know that she is.
She seems to lack that punch in many of her bigger races where she's been close, except for the Demoiselle, and that was a race where she just kind of grinded it out and just got up with the wire. Like you, I think the Mother Goose a little bit better than it looks on paper. She didn't have a lot of pace. She was coming off another layoff, and she caught another tough field. She should get a better setup this time around. Let's watch the 3 Honor D Lady score last time out in the Remington Park Oaks for trainer Safi Joseph. She's attacking the leader on the outside, placed to a pretty hard chase on the second turn, but she's going to collar this horse, and despite flashing her tail obstinately a little bit in the stretch, she's going to get up to win, and it appears Safi's just put her in some good spots, and it appears dirt is what she's wanted all along.
Yeah, listen, I agree with that, and that's what her pedigree says too, Dan. Her pedigree kind of says that dirt is supposed to be her surface. This is a Phipps family that goes back to educated risk and inside information. Those horses back there in the 3rd generation. She's good on all weather. She's good on turf, but she's also good on dirt. And I think that win last time might be a little underrated. An aggressive ride, caught on the outside, but just kept coming after that horse on the lead. And by the way, when you look up the PPs of that horse that she ran down is no slouch. She's got some form on the dirt.
Just Katherine, the number 4, earned some big buyer speed figures during the Saratoga meet. Big enough that the Connections decided to take a chance in the Grade 1 Cotillion, and big enough that she was bet down to 8-1 in that salty race. She really didn't fire that day. Maybe the wet track was an excuse. I wonder if she is just a notch below graded stakes level right now, but she does have figs.
Yeah, she does. I mean, that is the one thing. In some ways, it's a double-edged sword, because she has the figs to suggest she's a contender here, but she also has those figs 2 and 3 back that I guess could pull money her way in this spot. And I'm not so sure that I'd be interested in any kind of short price on her. 94 and 92 buyers notwithstanding. I know that she beat Raging Sea 2 starts back going this distance at Saratoga. I watched that replay back again, and I feel like trips made all the difference that day.
Indiana-bred Corningstone, the number 5. She's an uncoupled stablemate of Defining Purpose. Also cross-entered at Churchill Downs on Friday. We'll see where she goes. But if she runs here, she's won 3 in a row, including this open allowance race at Keeneland. This is a second-level allowance, Mike, and it was nice to see that she could adapt a little bit. The pace was not fast. She was able to stay right up close. She disposes of the leader with no problems whatsoever and goes on to a pretty likable score.
Yeah, pretty good looking win here. And you mentioned 3 in a row on dirt, 4 of her last 5 with a second on dirt. So her overall form is rock solid. Another one, though, kind of like the horse down on the rail. Is she good enough to go with horses like this?
Warriors Ransom is up next. I talked to Jamie Ness earlier this week. He's planning on running this horse at Laurel on Saturday. If she does run here, it would be a big test from a class, but especially a distance standpoint.
Yeah, I was worried about distance with her anyway. I get that her last 2 starts are the best. The 2 races are the best one she's ever run, Dan. I thought this was a tough spot for her.
Defining Purpose pulled off a giant upset. You liked her that day, 20-1 in the Grade 1 Ashland, where she beat Julia Shining. And as you said, she's really been fairly reliable for most of the year. Winner of the Indiana Oaks, 3rd in the Alabama. Here's her effort in the Mother Goose. She was no match for Zagara. She loomed right outside that horse, turning into the stretch. While she's turned away, I like how she dug in for second and is actually getting away from a pretty good filly, a colt for the place late in the game.
We look at it the same way. She took her shot at this favored winner. It was just no match, but she is dead game here to hold on to second. It's not a bad performance at all for Defining Purpose. I'm a fan of hers. I feel like there's a good trip coming for her in this race because she has that running style. She's a major player.
Raging Sea, like Julia Shining, was a very talented 2-year-old filly. She just missed in the Alcibiades, went 3rd. She ran a pretty good race in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, and unfortunately after that race, it took her a long time for Chad to get her back to the races. I wonder if she's running herself back into shape. This was a good effort, going 1 1/8 at Keeneland last time out, where she goes after the leader in earnest on the turn, and it takes a while for her to break this horse's spirit on the inside. But once she does, she's getting away at the end, and she stayed on nicely.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, she does have to work pretty hard to put this horse away, but she ultimately does. And I just like the way that she sat a comfortable trip there. She ranged up on the turn, and she's going to get the job done here at the end with another solid figure. You know, listen, I kind of looked at her in this race and thought she's the horse to beat just based on her last 2 efforts. Because even the race at Saratoga 2 back, I know that she was defeated by Just Katherine. I thought she had a way tougher trip that day and actually ran pretty well. I thought she was the horse to beat. I'm still not sure how good I actually think she is.
A lot of upside for her breaking from the outside post on Saturday. Before we get to our top picks, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time. I like Defining Purpose's last race. I like her tactical speed. I think she'll be placed in a good position. I think 3-1's a fair price. I wouldn't go much less. I like your top pick as my second choice. That's Honor D Lady, who seems to have found herself on dirt.
Yeah, I have your horse in there. I think she's very logical in here. I thought the 8 was the horse to beat. I just didn't really want to take her on top as perhaps the favorite in here. And I just liked everything about Honor De Lady's last race when they finally came back to dirt with her. I thought she did a lot of good things in there. And the more I looked at the race, Dan, the more I thought she might be right on the lead. If not on the lead, then right up close in here. Maybe it makes a difference.
I'll go with the 3. I'll go with the 7 and the Grade 3 Comely at the Big A on Saturday. Good luck.